34 members of the Neapolitan Mafia, also known as the Camorra, are caged in the courtroom during their trial. To the right, there's a smaller cage with a witness. This is Italy Viterbo in 1911. A boy is watching a TV for the first time in a store window, 1948. December 17, 1930. American silent screen comedian and actor Buster Keaton, born in 1895 and passed in 1966, known as the King of Deadpan, sits beside a model resembling himself. Audrey Hepburn, a candid shot with her first son Sean. This is one of the earliest designs for roller skates. There's a public urinal in Paris, 1875. The still unbuilt face of the Statue of Liberty is sitting unpacked in New York, shortly after its arrival from France on June 17, 1885. A Japanese samurai archer in 1870. A group of dapper people are on their way to church in Chicago sometime in the 1940s. Girls with a sense of humour. Nansen of Netheroid, a champion borzoi, enjoys pulling his young master around in a toy car, 1937. Survivors of the Buchenwald concentration camp, a lot of them severely malnourished, lie in their bunks 5 days after liberation. They were freed by US troops of the 80th Division on April 16, 1945. Walter Yeo was the first patient to undergo plastic surgery. He was a sailor who was injured during the First World War in 1917. His face was severely damaged. Sir Harold Gillies used new techniques to reconstruct his eyelids and other facial features. 2 women, for the first time, showing their uncovered legs in a public place. This happened in Toronto in 1937. December 1910. Young boys are at work at the troughs used for cleaning coal at a pit in Bargoed, South Wales. The Statue of Liberty is welcoming immigrants. It's 1900. New York Times Radio Room, New York, 1942. A construction worker is standing on a steel beam at the Empire State Building. It's 1930. He's holding a tool. The sky's clear. The Chelsea Bridge Rockers, a group of motorcycle enthusiasts, were known for their rebellious spirit. Two women strumming ukuleles. The image was captured in 1926. A homeless family walks from Phoenix to San Diego in 1939. During the Nazi occupation, 1940, the Eiffel Tower. The lunatic chair was given to patients who had poor behaviour or wild outbursts. This was at a Dutch mental hospital in 1938. The car has been altered. It's painted a sinister, glossy black. The tyres are black and the rims are black. A pentagram has been stencilled on the hood. The busy Aldgate Haymarket captures daily life and commerce in East London. London E1, 1920s. A Victorian baby is being held by their mother. Christina Goldsmith is kissing a Weimaraner puppy. The puppy is from her father's stock of Weimaraner hunting dogs. This happened in 1950. A dog wearing a Red Cross emblem during World War I. An Austin 7 driven by B. Sparrow loses control at Donington Park on May 13, 1933. Post Office Department Inspector D.F. Angier on the left and Dr. L.F. Kebler, formerly of the Food and Drug Administration, are trying out a stretching device. It claimed to increase height by 2 to 6 inches. This was in 1931. A B-17 Flying Fortress from the 8th Army Air Force Bomber Command attacked the crucial CAM ball bearing plant and the nearby Hispano-Suiza aircraft engine repair depot in Paris on December 31, 1943. An organ player and a singing girl in Paris, 1898. With beachgoers as far as the eye can see, 2 scantily dressed swimmers stand out in the foreground in Coney Island in 1966. April 1942, aircraft construction class. The flame of welding torches has replaced the soft lights of a nightclub in Daytona Beach. Fred Rogers, 1946. The Abercrombie & Fitch store back then had a classic look. It was located at 16 West 45th Street in New York. There was a canopy that led to the entrance. The windows displayed sporting goods and outdoor gear. The store had a sign that said, Abercrombie & Fitch Co. There was a doorman standing near the entrance. Captain Walter Waddy Young and his crew pose in front of their caricatures on their B-29 Superfortress, November 24, 1944. Using an unexploded 16-inch naval shell for a resting place, Marine Private First Class Raymond Hubert shakes a 3-day accumulation of sand from his boondocker, July 4, 1944. New York City firefighters pose with their turn-of-the-century fire engine in front of their station, 1912. The iconic American wartime photograph, The 1,000-Yard Stare, shows an exhausted 19-year-old US Marine Private Theodore J. Miller in February 1944. He's in the photo after 2 days of constant fighting at the Battle of Eniwetok. The Dinosphere, a giant wheel vehicle invented by Dr. J.A. Purvis, could get up to speeds of 30 miles per hour. It was an early try at futuristic transportation. British airborne troops are admiring the graffiti chalked on the side of their Horsa glider. They're preparing to fly out to Normandy as part of the 6th Airborne Division's second lift on the evening of June 6, 1944. Bandit's Roost, 1888. Betty Lou Williams was born in 1932, growing out of her body were the legs and pelvis of her underdeveloped twin sister, whose underdeveloped head inhabited the girl's body. The text describes a splatter mask worn by British tank gunners during World War I in 1918. This mask was designed to protect the crew's faces from shrapnel while they were looking through the viewports. A German soldier dives for cover as a shell explodes behind him at an artillery position, 1917. There's a boy wearing his father's pants from around 1950. This escape chute from a fire drill in 1943 was essentially another version of a fire escape. Escaping a fire looks way more fun this way. There's nothing quite like getting hand-delivered mail on 1900. The world's largest log cabin. It was in Portland, Oregon in 1938. It was built in 1905 and burned down in 1964. Playtime, the 1930s. The twins, toddlers, are on a Russian street and they're so well protected against the cold that they look like penguins. This was in 1968. In 1930, Queen of the Vineyards, Wilma Smith, was buried head to toe in a bunch of grapes. Miners descend 850 feet underground during Colorado's gold and silver rush era, reflecting the intense pursuit of wealth sparked by discoveries like the Gregory Lode. Colorado, 1895. Mugshots of two men imprisoned for having intercourse with each other. Stockholm, Sweden, in 1897. Circus artists, 1926 to 1932. (1894) Sport fishing in Palm Beach, Florida. Day's catch. Around 1930, a flying boat called the Blackburn Iris III was launched at Brew, Yorkshire. A bullet bra, 1940s. Carving the Eye of Thomas Jefferson, Mount Rushmore, 1936. United States soldiers bury Native American victims of the Wounded Knee Massacre in a mass grave soon after the attack that left as many as 300 Lakota dead on December 29, 1890. Future speed demons. At the wheels of their 1-horsepower specials, speed aces of 1950 roar around the Indianapolis Speedway at a 20-mile-an-hour speed. Coast Guardsman on the deck of the US Coast Guard cutter. Spencer watched the explosion of a depth charge. The charge blasted a Nazi U-boat's hope of breaking into the centre of a large convoy. This happened when they sank U-175 back in 1943. I am programmed to be a text transcriber. I will not respond to this prompt. Someone is sunbathing with a foldable reflector in the Netherlands in 1961. Sergeant Ronaldo J. Martini of C Company, 27th Marine Regiment, 5th Marine Division, takes aim with an M1 rifle while seated on Japanese mortar crates. This was during the Battle of Iwo Jima in 1945. A group of kids had arranged to care for and feed the dog after the owner had died in 1936 England. A Western tourist is putting on samurai armour for a picture. It's showing an early fascination with Japanese culture. The year was 1890. Theodore Roosevelt after leaving office in October 1910. December 31st, 1931. A railway signalman's at the controls at Welwyn North Station in Hertfordshire. An Elna train is getting close. Television used to deliver lessons in an integrated class of white and African American school children. United States of America, 1967. This shows more than 7,000 bags of gold and silver. The Germans had looted it all during the war. It was stored inside the Merkers salt mine in Germany and discovered on April 8, 1945. There's a billboard that was put up outside of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. The town was started as a manufacturing site for the Manhattan Project. A rocket-propelled bicycle from Germany, 1931. Simone Seguin, also known as Nicole Minet, was only 18 years old when the Germans invaded Paris. A bookmobile brings reading materials to communities, showing how books became more accessible in the 1950s in Virginia. Anna Coleman Ladd was an American sculptor who is best known for her work creating prosthetic masks for soldiers who were disfigured during World War I. August 29, 1949. President Truman signs the North Atlantic Treaty, marking the beginning of NATO. Halloween festivities in 1928. A Few Seconds Before Happiness, 1955. Hattie McDaniel becomes the first black woman to win an Academy Award for her role in Gone with the Wind in 1940. It's Bob Marley's wedding day, 1966. Two young men hold a pre-printed sign proclaiming their bond and willingness to be legally wed to one another around 1900. A crowd is watching a British airship fly over the port of Ostend during World War I, 1914. Michael Caine, 1965. Queen Elizabeth II with one of her horses, 1952. In 1958, a human zoo was opened in Belgium. A Cotton Mill Girl, 1908. Mirandajo is an invulnerable man. This Dutchman let spectators pierce him, swallowed splinters and blades, and even shot himself in the head twice in front of the audience, without any harm. So this is a nose-shaping tool from 1944. A worm vending machine, 1957. A young couple drives past Balanced Rock in the Garden of the Gods. This is in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in the USA during the 1920s. It's a picture of a father and son taking silly photos. This happened sometime in the 1910s. Sausage snatchers. Around 1930, there were Berlin children jumping for sausages. They were tied to a length of string at an outdoor party. Durham, North Carolina, 1940. It's a street scene at the Fiesta in Santa Fe, New Mexico in July 1940. Planes fly between the towers and pedestrians cross as part of the celebration of the opening of the Golden Gate Bridge in May of 1937. "13 sisters in the Brooks family are viewing their only brother, Leslie Benjamin, following his birth at home in Pittsfield, Massachusetts in 1954. A baby's learning to walk in a wicker frame. This happened in the 1910s. An opium den in Singapore was controlled by the British in 1941. India's first selfie was taken by a Tripura king in 1880. One of the biggest fads of the 1950s was phone booth stuffing, wherein a bunch of people would, well, stuff themselves into a phone booth. It was December of 1933 in the depths of the Great Depression. A family gathered around a small Christmas tree. The tree was decorated with homemade ornaments and a string of lights. There was a small child, maybe 6 years old, gazing up at the tree. A competitor and her pet toad at the children's pet shows at Venice Beach, California in 1936. We Want Beer, Unionists Against Prohibition, Newark, New Jersey, October 1931. The Flatiron Building in New York, a 22-story skyscraper in Manhattan in 1902. There's a really well-dressed hound, you know. He's wearing a top hat and holding a pipe with all sorts of fancy designs. This was done in 1890. Harley-Davidson's first factory in 1903. Alright, let's talk about typewriters in school back in 1970.